Hey, that was quite a launch.
Welcome, everybody, to Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Tonight, we're talking charities. So first of all, I want everybody to kind of introduce themselves, and then I'll talk a little bit. Then I'll let Greg and Chad start giving each other crap. So, good, Greg, you introduce yourself first.
Greg Elsing, same guy.
Okay. Can you maybe say who you are, what you do for Badger State? This is a professional live audience we got watching tonight. So we're bringing in all the Missouri people tonight. So
I run the complaint department at the Badger State Tractor Pullers. I'm in charge of that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. Next, I'll just introduce Greg next time. John.
I'm John Stradley with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, one of the announcers of the crew. And
but you're the co-host. You're the co-host. You and Greg are the co-host of Down and Dirty.
I always batting cleanup for Elsing. I'm the dirty part.
Right.
Mr. Richardson, tell us who you are.
Yep, I'm Chad Richardson. I'm with the group High Limit Productions. We put on one poll a year, with the proceeds going to the Children's Miracle Network Hospital here in Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah. So the idea was to get you on tonight, Chad, because I know a lot of associations raise money in polls. Okay, but this is a lot of fun. Both part of the Pro Polling League. Your event's a Pro Polling League event, Chad, and you pull Light Pro a lot with PPL. And then obviously Badger State's part of Pro Polling League, and you guys raised between the two associations over $200,000. And I know Greg had said something to me like, "Hey, get your buddy Richardson on and let's have a little contest next year." And then so Greg wants to stick it in your butt and he wants to talk shit because it's a whole association. Then you're going to come back and say, "Hey, we're just one poll." So before we get all mad at each other, Chad, I want you to Chad, how much money did your event raise this year? And then talk about a little bit, and then we'll let Greg go.
So this is this last year was the fourth year that we've put on an event. Our first event was 2019, and then of course 2020 we wasn't able to have the event. The very first year we did this, we just kind of went out on a limb, had no idea what to expect, and we gave around, I think it was around $40,000 the first year, and we're like, holy cow, this actually might work, And so it got us all fired up, and we got to really putting our heads together, and then 2020 hit and kind of kicked us in the leg, and then we came back in 21 and was it 51,000, and then 22 71,000, and then last year we were just shy of 82,000.
Wow. Kudos to you guys.
So yeah, appreciate it. It's obviously you guys know the amount of work that goes into to make something like this happen. We added a kicker event this fall just to kind of help jumpstart us for next year, and we did a side-by-side ride, just basically ride around and drink beer and pull poker hands, and then we had a dinner and auction stuff that night, and we raised I want to say it was like $22,000 or $23,000 here in October for that.
That's
Wow.
pretty
Yes,
cool.
we are going to have a lot of fun tonight, and then Greg and Badger State's going to, they're going to compete next year with Chad. We'll have to come up with a percentage on it. But if you're a promoter, if you're listening to this, or you're another poll and you're listening to this, they're going to share a bunch of ideas tonight. And that's ultimately what this is about. But there will be a lot of competition as well, because Mr. Elsing is very competitive, and so is Mr. Richardson. And John and I are just going to we're going to be the referees in the corner. Okay, I just want to point that out. But Chad, can you go left or right there on the screen as people see this? I know not everybody on your team is there, but who are the people that are in this picture?
So that's Justin Edwards. We'll do front row. Justin Edwards and his wife Alicia Edwards.
And he had that light pro ragged, right? With the
running ragged.
Running ragged, yeah.
Yep. And before he sold it, he had had a couple light supers on alcohol named Firewater.
Okay.
And then Kristen Fritchie is the one in the center in the black, and she is our go-to person with the Children's Miracle Network. That's who we work directly with, and she kind of guides us in certain directions, and we lean on her quite a bit for information on what we should be doing with our funds. And then to the right of her is my wife Olivia, which she's the brains on the Richardson side of things here. She does a lot of her social media stuff. And then, of course, me on the right. And then the back row, we've got Stan Robinson, and then Logan Bishop, and then Chris Popkes behind Kristen. And then his wife wasn't there. She wasn't able to make it that day, but his wife, Carrie, is on the group. And then we got Jared Robinson in between Kristen and Olivia.
So you guys gave $81,000 to it's the Children's Miracle Network, right?
Yes. Yep.
Is it still designated to those NICU babies, if I remember correctly, or did you change that up, Chad?
So we kind of switched it up. We originally started with it all going to buy the NICU beds, which they're like $40,000 a piece, and they've got a shelf life. They don't last very long, kind of how many hours they're used. And so we did that, and then we ended up, the first year we bought one of those, and the second year we bought one of those, and then the heating warming blankets. And then as our poll started growing and the number was growing, we're like, what can we do? We need to set some really high standards and high goals for us. And so we actually signed last year a $250,000 pledge with them. They are building a new hospital down here. And so we got with them and sat down, and I mean, it took quite a bit of time to figure out what we was going to do. But with our $250,000 pledge, $100,000 of that is going to a nourishment room, which is for the families and the kids when they're able to get out of their hospital rooms, and it's a place for them to go and sit, just kind of a personalized waiting room that has drinks and food and stuff like that. And then $75,000 of that is going to the NICU on-call suite, which is we wanted to do something for the on-call doctors where they actually feel at home. So we're basically building an apartment inside the hospital that has their own couch, refrigerator, bed, stove, all that stuff, so they don't have to get out, and they can always keep the best help on hand. And then $75,000 of that is going towards equipment for NICU beds, blankets, things to that nature as what they need.
Awesome. Well, kudos to you guys, Chad. That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
It
great
is.
bunch of people. So
It is.
Greg, I'm gonna put a picture on the screen of you and Lori from the banquet. John's talking. I got looking for pictures of a head-on shot, but this is you. Can you kind of talk about what's happening in this picture a little bit, Greg? Oops. How about I put it on the screen?
Right.
I promise, guys. I'm sober. I promise. So,
When we gave the check, is it the big one, the big check?
this picture I have right here, Greg.
Oh, this is Lori. We're holding the check there. One of them, the big checks, like Ricky Bobby gets or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were that was a check presentation for the first one. Was before we do the auction at the banquet, it was $107,000 from the pull and the we do that Calcutta at the auction, and then we kind of totaled that up, and the raffle money and everything, it totaled up to be about 107,000. This year was crazy. The Calcutta, 6 tractors brought $54,000.
What class did you do, Greg?
The pro stocks.
Okay, and for those of you that don't know what a Calcutta is, I don't want to assume that. Greg, can you talk about what a Calcutta is? Because we got a lot of people watching tonight, and I want people to understand that. So
it's kind of like a 50-50 bet. You put the tractors out on the track, and say somebody buys my tractor for X amount of dollars, and say there's $1,000 on each tractor. You got $6,000 there. If you'd have bought my tractor for $1,000, you'd have won all 6,000, 3,000 of it. 3,000 and half goes to the Children's Hospital immediately, and half to the winner. But the winners every year for the last 10 years have donated back. Some guys have taken their original money out and donated the difference, but everybody always gives it all back. So it's been good. Ryan Coates has done it a couple of times. He won a couple years in a row. And this year, Hartung Farms won it, and they donated it all back, and it's been really good. You have an auction, you auction off each tractor, and whoever buys the winning tractor wins the pot, and they can do what they want with it.
Talk about the raffle a little bit that you guys started a couple years ago, Greg, with Badger State. Every puller gets what, 5? How do you do that again?
Every puller gets a book of tickets, 5 tickets for $100. And we only print 1,000 tickets, and we sell them. Every one of them is sold, and we give it's $100,000, and you give 50 of it to the winners. A $25,000 prize, a $15,000 cash prize, and a $10,000 cash prize. We used to do raffles where everybody donated items, and when you sold for $10, you had to print thousands of tickets. It was just a pain in the butt. And Don Slom actually came up with this and pushed it a little bit, which is fine, and we all agreed to it. $100 ticket, just sell it, and you're done. 5 of them, and everybody sells more than their 5 books. I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of competitors. Nick Score with Screaming Norwegian, I think, sells the most every year with 11 or 12 books. And then about 10 other group teams on down the line do it too. So the biggest group of sellers this year was the tech guys. The tech people all sold 22 books between them all. So that was pretty good.
I sold 6 or 7.
Yep. John sold 6 or 7 books, and yep.
Yeah. Also do the paddles there too, Chad. We have $20 paddles and $10 paddles for each class. And then we have a number on it, 1 through. So if there's 10 tractors in it or 10 trucks in it, we have $20 paddles. There's 10 of them. And then there's $10 paddles. There's 10 of them. And if you're puller number 2 and you win and I got paddle 2, then I win half of that pot. See, and then the other half goes in. And a lot of times when you're at the pull, those people donate that money back into, or like Greg said, they'll pull their $20 out and they'll buy another paddle again, and then the rest of the money will go in. Also, shirts too, isn't it, Greg? There's shirts out that get sold there too, and that goes there. And then also the food and the beer and the drinks and all that. Once it's all done, the bills are paid, and then what's left goes to that too.
Yep, 100% of the money made at the pull. The fair board keeps the beer money. They sell the beer and keep the profit from that, and for using fairgrounds. But other than that, everything is like, the beef is donated by, and the hamburgers are sold, so it's 100% profit for cheeseburger buns and all that. Adam Adrian Meat Market cuts up the hamburger, and everything is donated. Really good deal.
Yeah. So what we do is we sell all the beer and keep the proceeds from the beer sales. The food is all done through the Paris FFA chapter, and so we've allowed them to they keep the funds from that. That's their biggest fundraiser event that they do, which we like to help support the community also with what we're doing.
Yep.
So I know we're giving up some cash flow there, but it also is going to really good cause as well.
Yep.
So Chad, the idea of this will have a little contest. Now, I got to think about this a little bit. Really, this is the Badger State Pullers have one event and you have one event. So I don't think you can talk a little bit of smack about a whole organization against you, right? Or how do we do that? Well, the raffle, I know the raffle's put on by everybody. I'm trying to figure out a fair way to make a good bet between Badger State and High Limit, Craig, on this, or the American Family Children's Poll.
So a question I have for you guys on the Calcutta, do you guys get the fans involved in that as well? Or is that just a puller thing?
They auction it off, Greg, or Chad, one of the announcers. Did you guys bring an auctioneer in this year, Strandman, or did you do it?
We do it. Usually we're terrible auctioneers, but half-assed announcers. So
That's true.
We do it, but there's people from the crowd, Chad, that do it. Business people that want to get in on it. Pullers are in on it. Everybody's in on it that wants to do it.
What kind of time frame does that take away from the pull? Like to pull the tractors out there and do that? What do you guys?
About 30 minutes.
Because that's stuff that we've all talked about, but we don't like people sitting around waiting either. We like to keep the show rolling.
Yeah.
We do it at the show, and I try to do the smallest class so you can get it done. And people seem to like to bid on the pro stocks more than, for some reason. But anyways, you do a small class, you spend 5 minutes on each tractor, and we invite bidders. Then all the people that bought at the auction this year got invited to the banquet too.
Okay.
So you invite them back to the pull. You get some guys they're going to give the money to the Children's Hospital anyways. You might as well go through this and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, the first year we did this, we made $5,000, and we were happier than heck 23 years ago, and it's growing every year. It gets bigger every year. It's never gone backwards.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's good. And we have a family there too. While we're pulling the tractors out on the track, we have a family that's been through good or bad at the Children's Hospital, whether their child is healthy and good, or maybe they helped them either way, even if it took a wrong turn. We have the family there, and they tell their story while we're pulling the tractors out of the track, and they're on this video board, and we do it at the banquet too. A family comes up there too and talks, and how many times they've been close related to somebody in our organization is crazy.
Oh yeah, we found that out as well.
Yeah. Yep. So they're all great stories. I said, sometimes they have a bad ending, but everybody's appreciative of everything that the Children's Hospitals do for them.
Yeah.
But it gets people in touch, and I know when Travis and Tierney Wildman told their story, and I turned around and had, you got to start the auction, and you could heard a pin drop in that, and there's 3,500 people there, and there was not one noise. One of my friends, Bill Kinchy, said his phone rang when that happened. He was so embarrassed. He was up in the stands watching. He's a parts guy here in town, and he said, "Geez, I was embarrassed. Nobody was making a noise, and my phone rang." So, but I turned around, and there's 16-year-old kids in the front rows with tears in their eyes. It was a terrible,
Yep. No, it's and that is our motto and advertisement for everything is, this is our why. And we've had, a couple videos done that we play before the poll every year, before the national anthem. And, we had one kid one year that actually we have a little farm tractor class before the poll starts. And he actually sat up on a guy's lap and drove the tractor pulling the sled down the track. So it was a really, really cool thing.
Yep. That is cool. Yep. Yep. It's the one thing you can do. Every event I say is a charity for something. If the county fair is putting it on there and doing it to benefit their fairgrounds or whatever, everything you do is a charity event. So it's hard to set one ahead of another one. It's just, this is the one we do. And all the pullers donate their hooks. It used to be the first years we said, if you want your class there, you had to go out and get a sponsor for your class. And eventually, I think it was Randy Bruce said, well, why don't we just take the sponsorship money and put it in the, right in the, the donation instead of trying to pay somebody. And then that just started the snowball effect, and everybody wants to pull. And every year we ask at spring meeting if your class wants to be a part of it. If not, they, yes or no. And a couple years ago, the truck guys had to go to a different pull somewhere else, so they weren't part of it. But we don't make anybody come and do it. It's a points pull, though.
Yeah.
If your class votes to be there.
One thing too, Chad. Obviously, I'm way more. I've been to your pull, Chad, once or twice, and I've also obviously been to the Badger State one more than that. They actually we moved from a smaller venue to like a bigger fairground, Chad, and I really felt like that took this event to the next level. Don't you agree, Greg and John?
Yeah, and it was the first year after COVID too. Where we moved to this grounds, and it really, I think that was a big part of it too. It's an early event in the year. That was our first pull that year too.
Yeah,
and everybody was ready to go do something.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we used to have it in my hometown here, and I didn't know if I could get help, to move it somewhere. We only had half the classes every time because we couldn't get them done before midnight, and moved it up there, 2 classes, and the fairgrounds up there, and the local guys up there helping. It's great, and they actually won the chef's award this year for favorite meal served at a tractor pull.
Awesome.
Yep.
The pickle.
Chad, talk about that. Chad, can you talk about your poker run again? That sounds like something Greg does every weekend.
Yeah, so we did the poker run, which was all side by sides. I think we had a 50-mile trip planned throughout the day, and then 3 stops, and just kind of let everybody have a good time and hang out and get some alcoholic beverages in them. And then that night we got back, we had a dinner and an auction, silent auction, had a lot of different things going on, had some really cool gifts donated. So it turned out really, really good.
No, that's cool.
We have an auction at our banquet then too. And Dean Monty kind of started this 4 or 5 years ago with some Badger tickets he wanted to raffle off for the children. And we did that, and that snowballed now too to some big events, some big ticket items. Chris Feller did Bucks tickets last year in a suite. Tim Abbey and his wife, and I forget the name of their law office, donated 18 tickets to a suite with all the food and booze included this year, and that was auctioned off. I mean, and Chris did some Bucks tickets again. Larry Baumkamp did some Badger tickets. I mean, and they all go crazy for that stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you guys, when you came up with this idea to do what you guys are doing? I think you said 21 years ago.
23 years ago. Yep.
23 years ago. How did you guys get the association, Badger State, involved in being so supportive, choosing your guys' event over all the other events that take place?
It was Danny Fry and I were sitting, and they were doing the St. Jude's Telethon. And we said we should do something for this week, and they're just terrible stories on the radio. We were sitting in the shop listening to it, and we said we can do something. We can do something. We said, well, let's just put a tractor pull on, and whatever we make, we'll give it to them. And that's when we said, if you want to be part of this pull, you go out and get your class sponsored. And there was like 4 or 5 classes. Like we said, we made $5,000. We thought that was great, and moved on. And then eventually all the pullers are just behind it 100%. Just they love it. It was voted favorite pull of the year in the Badger State pulling this year. I don't know if it was last year or not. I think it was, but maybe it was 2 years in a row. But it's been in the top 3 in ballots for probably 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
At voting, and back Randy Brood, he does a pretty good job up there making the track for it.
Yeah,
I feel like last year was Monroe, Greg, 2 years ago, and I think this year was the benefit pull. So
yep, yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yep, I think it was too. Fall Nationals, yeah. But there's a lot of good polls people vote for,
Oh yeah, yep.
So Greg, what was the total dollar amount then raised this year? You said 152. Is that what you said?
When I left, the last time I remember was 161, and there were still people giving checks.
Okay.
So Chad, a lot of the pullers will get their points checked too, and some of them have had their children at the children's hospital, and they'll quietly, silently, they'll sign their check and they'll walk over and give it to Lori and just walk away, you know?
Yeah.
And there's pullers that do that too, that toss money in. The ATV club that helps out at the event up there, they come with a check usually every year and give some money, and other
Yep.
people there too that are there donating. And like the Abbey family, like Greg was saying, last year they were at the banquet. They were so moved at the generosity to people there at the auction. That's why they donated the hockey tickets and the suite and all that to help raise money for UW, because they thought it was such a good thing. So it's
Yeah,
everything caught up.
with that too. You know, that 265-gallon tote of glyphosate they donated with that
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, AC agronomy.
Yep, AC agronomy. Tim Abbey. Yep.
Yeah, AC agronomy. So it's snowballing. It keeps snowballing. So hopefully yours does the same thing, Chad. Because even fun competition, it's for the kids. It's for great thing. And if we can all go out and enjoy an evening with one another and have a poll and have some great sponsors there to help put money towards such a great event and something that you can see that is doing good in the community, in your area as well as ours. It doesn't get any better.
No, for sure.
And we do the president's meeting down at the Lucas Oil Banquet and of the clubs, and I sit in there and I tell them, the guys say, how do you get all these sponsors? And I said, hey, do something like this. Get your name out there that you're doing something like this, and the sponsors come to you. They do, and it's easy when you do something like this, and they all want to be part of it. They see it, they see all the hype around, and if you're going to sponsor something, it's really it makes to sponsor a club that's doing something like this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
All right, so here's the deal. Time to get serious. Okay. So basically, it's like 260 grand between the two clubs. Or no, what? Yeah, no, 240. I can't add. Wow, I'm tired.
You're a guy.
You're a mortgage guy.
I have well, I always round up on interest rates. Oh, I love you guys. Hold on. 3, 4. Yeah, about
an interest rate loan for my house.
Yeah, about 243,000 was raised between the two clubs. Now, to Chad's point, they're a standalone event. With one event, and then this is all Badger State. So basically doubled. So do we look at a percentage, Elsine? So basically, like how would we do this? I need some help, guys.
Let me ask you this. What do you guys set goals of what you're trying to accomplish and raise each year?
We haven't. We've never set a goal. We've always tried to do better than the last year.
Okay.
And that's kind of done, but it's, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Well, we're going to have a certain, we have cost in it too, so it's hard to say that like the 50,000 from the raffle is 100% in there. It's not, because there's a lot of costs in putting all that on.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We could just keep track of what's raised at the event, I guess, and take the raffle money out.
Yeah, but Chad's doing that poker run, so that's kind of like the raffle. You know what I mean? I almost want to do a percentage. Like this year, you basically doubled them up, and that's like, if you don't double them up again next year, you lose. That's kind of where my brain's going with this, but that's what I'm trying to figure it out.
Who increases their total donation by a percentage?
That's what I'm thinking. We do it by a percentage where, if we raise 100,000 this year and you raise 170,000,
right?
Then you're going to be shipping cheese curds this way,
right?
See that, Schultz? Who's the brains around here? Those two birds.
Right?
That's fine. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, we could do that. See who could increase it by the percentage.
Yeah. So if Chad would hit 100,000, so we take 100,000 minus 81,938.5, and we divide that back into the 81,938. Oops, shoot. then he would have had 20. He'd have 22% growth. Did you guys see how we did that? Subtract the difference, divide it back in the original. So it's going to be a growth competition. So Greg would have to do. Badger State would have to do next year.
2%.
Yeah, 22% or more. I'd have to do the math on that. I'd
One-
have to back into that.
That's-
You almost have to do 200,000, Greg. 40,000 would get you to 200,000. You divide that by 161. That's 24. You're going to have to do, yeah.
Jump for us, though. I mean, really, we've never jumped that much.
No.
We've pretty tough.
Well, and I don't know that we're going to jump from 20,000.
Yeah, no, I'm just using a zero, but I think this is the best way to do it. So
Yeah, because if you go back and look at our jumps per year, they've been about besides this last year, they've been about $10,000 a year increase. Let's see, we went 40, 51, 71, and 82. So they've been $10,000 to $20,000 increase.
Okay.
again, it's all for fun, but I do want to have a little competition with it because then you guys, Chad, you can use this against, with your team, and obviously Greg will, because Greg loves to stir the pot. He's a pot stirrer. He's a professional. So
When's your event, Chad?
June 14th.
Oh, so
Same
it's
ours.
same day as ours.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, but a bag of cheese curds. What do we get from Missouri?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
So you tell Doug to send up a prime rib.
What's that?
You tell Doug Ruth to send up a prime rib.
I can do that.
Yep.
Oh.
We're actually going down to his house. He's opening his new meat market. We're going to go visit him the weekend when he opens it. We're coming down before Christmas. We were planning on it.
Yeah.
And yeah. How far are you?
Probably about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Yep. Over the years, I've got to be pretty good friends with Doug and Dee. So.
Yep. They're very, very great people.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to tell
Third,
Chad a story about Hillsboro. What Doug did up there. I don't know if you heard this story, Chad.
I don't think I had.
Let's tell that story about Doug.
Chad, I announced up to Hillsboro, and I've announced a long time. And to get me to not talk, you got to move mountains. So anyway, got to be great friends with Chad and Dee. Dee had colon cancer. My wife has colon cancer, so we connected pretty good and chat now and then, Facebook and whatever. And so anyway, they come to Hillsboro to pull. The first year, there's this kid that was there, 17 or something, and the kid has cancer, and he come and visited the tractor. Just loved Doug's tractor. Got pictures taken with it and whatnot. So next year comes around, and that kid comes back again, and he wants to sit in the seat this time, and Doug could tell that he's getting pretty sick and whatnot, and so he let him sit in the tractor and took pictures, and they had a good time chatting with him and his family. And so Doug got, I think, second place that night, and he come up to get his trophy, and just before we talked, the other announcer was talking, and he says, "Hey, don't turn that on yet. I got a question." I'm like, "Yeah, what is it?" He says, "Can I give my trophy away?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's your trophy. You can do what you want." "Why?" He says, "Well, remember us talking about that boy that's sick?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to give it to him." I'm like, "Perfect." I said, "What's his name?" And he told me his name. I said, "All right." I said, "I'll call him up here." So I called him up there, and that kid come running from the bottom of the stairs all the way up to the announcer stand at the top. And I don't know how many steps that is. It's a long ways up. And he run up there, and he was so excited. And Dee was crying, and Doug was crying, and I was crying, and I couldn't even talk. I mean, it just took my breath away. It was such a great moment that night, and I couldn't say a word. Couldn't get nothing. But man, those two, yeah. How can you do more?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool.
Yep. So back to the bet.
So percentage growth year to year. Okay. I got it wrote down. I'm gonna throw it up here on my wall.
Okay.
And then a bag of cheese curds. Do you have a particular brand cheese curds that you want, Chad, or what would you say the best cheese curd is in Wisconsin? Car Valley?
Car
We're,
Valley.
we're from Missouri. We don't have a clue.
So do you guys,
Cheese curd.
Well, I've got a Car Valley in my hometown here. I can get them shipped right direct to you.
I would say they're the most well known.
Yeah.
I think as tractor pullers, we should involve some alcohol in it too, Greg, because that's kind of what we do. I think we have Spotted Cow in Wisconsin. I think we should throw a case of cow. Chad, what do you have that's particular to just Missouri for booze? Look at John.
Yeah, there's obviously Budweiser. We've got a lot of other, lot of local places that make really good beer. Logboat's one of them. Burr Oak Brewery. So there's a lot of places around here we could do something like that if you guys like that kind of beer, or we could whatever you guys want.
Any kind of beer I win from you, I'm going to drink.
even if it has a sticker on it says
Good.
never diesel fuel with cetane.
I love it.
Coltrane energy drink down there too? Isn't that
Yeah,
from-
they're not too far from where we are.
yeah.
Jason was just there. It's over by California, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, it's in Syracuse. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I hit it on the way home. I hit it on the way home from the banquet, the Outlaw banquet a couple weeks ago. So.
Yep.
Yep. And I spent they were with us all weekend at PRI. They didn't bring enough. That's all I'm gonna say. It was pretty wild down there with those guys. That was pretty fun. So.
Yep.
Good.
Pretty fun.
Bar down here, their signature drink is made with Coltrane. They used to Monster Energy drink or Red Bull or something. They switched it to Coltrane, and now they can't keep enough there. You know, so the shop. It's called the Shop down by Dennis Fair Valley Performance.
Oh,
Right
really?
next to Performance. Yeah.
Ah,
So
Love it. So I'm going to summarize it. First of all, it's amazing what Badger State has done for American Family Children's Hospital over the years. Greg, have you added it up over the years? Total dollar amount?
we switched from St. Jude's to American Family Children's Hospital. It's over $1 million.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not telling my St. Jude story, but we switched to the more local hospital, and they have just as many beds as St. Jude does. So I don't know why. Yeah, I know it's over $1 million. It was $500,000, where I like 500 some for St. Jude or for well, hell, in the last 2 years we've done 250.
Right.
No, 290. You know. Yeah. So it's quite a bit.
And then Chad, what number year are you on, bud, with high limit? Is it 5 or 6 or is it 7 now?
Let's see. I think we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 events. This will be number 5 coming up.
Awesome.
They get bigger every time, and the guys get more excited for it every time.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. That's good. They're both good causes. I mean, at the Children's Hospital, you can't do anything better than that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have a bag of Car Valley curd from Wisconsin and a case of Spotted Cow versus a prime rib from Doug Ruth and some local beer, that whatever Chad will pick out, just to have some fun between
Get
Highland.
you a sampler pack.
Yeah, sampler pack.
So we can do that too.
And
Get
then
Fail.
the biggest will be the growth percentage year to year. This year, Badger State raised 161,000, and then they're going to do their percentage of growth versus High Limit Productions 81,938. So it's amazing what both groups have done. You know, just shows the heart of the heart and soul of the truck and tractor pulling community, how awesome it is. And then hopefully some of you picked up some good ideas tonight. If any of you have any good ideas, or if you want to get involved with the American Family Children's Hospital pull with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, message us on the Facebook page, or just call Elsine anytime, because he loves to answer his phone. 444-7956, 608-444-7956. Chad Richardson, again, full High Limit Productions down there, Paris, Missouri. They do an amazing job. And again, we're doing what we love, and that's what it's all about. It's for the kids. So If you guys don't have anything else, we'll wrap it up. Merry Christmas to everybody. Chad, thanks for coming on tonight. I know
Yeah,
you were
absolutely.
going to come on last week, but you're actually having a meeting. So
Yep.
I appreciate
we
you
were
coming on tonight.
booking our classes for this year. So
Good deal. Good deal.
Thanks, Chad. It's nice
hey,
talking.
thank you guys. Honestly, it's an honor to be trying to compete with you guys on doing something like this, because you guys are outstanding at what you do.
Chad,
So, to be
Chad,
able to,
Chad, I don't want you to leave on a real humble note like that. I need you to kind of say something kind of smart assy to Elsing, because I'll fire him up. Okay, I know how he works. So
hey, we're gonna take the slow roll approach in.
Yeah. I think
so
we're
he's
gonna.
setting you up, Elsing. He's setting you up.
Yeah, I see that. We're gonna struggle to do as big a percentage, I think, but that we got a goal, right? That's all that matters.
Absolutely. And the winners at the end is the hospital. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So
whoever wins next year, we'll actually do a live when that other person's drinking their beer, chatting. Greg, is that okay? Eating their food. So
that'll work.
actually, that might be worth a road trip. Honest to God, that would be. We could take the show on the road.
Yeah.
Elsing's got a great shop. Richardson, you got a great shop. I've drank adult beverages in both of your shops, and it'd be fun to do it again. So
Yeah.
fun to do it again. So
All
well,
right.
thank you so much. Chad, I'm really sorry about your Kansas City Chiefs. Are the Packers, are they winning, Greg, right now?
There's just struggled to get a first down. They got it. So
Okay, good deal. They're playing the Giants tonight. So awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, it's a great cause, and we're gonna have a little fun with this, and I appreciate all of you. So that's all I got for tonight. Greg, sign off as El Presidente of the Badger State Tractor Pullers, please.
we're good. I want to thank our sponsors, Matt Castor, Ed Casper with Casper Ag, and Don Slama and Trip Downing for sure. Without them, we couldn't do as well as we do. So thank you, guys.
Awesome. Have a great night, everybody. See you next week.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, Chad.